There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
Every so often, a new product is introduced into a specific category that can truly be considered a game changer. And in the world of motorcycle audio, I believe the folks at Precision Power and the Epsilon Group have done just that. This is CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM, Precision Power, and it starts now. What's going on, everybody? And thanks for tuning in to yet another CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and today we are all about motorcycle audio, more specifically Precision Power. Now, these guys have been on before, but we had to bring them back because some of the products that they have introduced have literally been a game changer, specifically in the source unit category. We're going to talk about all these new units that they have, their application, the special features that, man, if you're into motorcycle audio, you need to pay attention, because if you have customers that are interested in this stuff and you don't know about it, you are missing out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and connect with the boys at Epsilon Group. We have two of the product specialists joining us today. First is Ronnie Brashear, who's their VP of Sales, joined by Brandon Meyer, their Program Manager. What's up, fellas? How's it going today?
What's going on, Ben? Whoa.
Afternoon.
Man, I'm happy you guys are on here. You guys are just tearing it up in the motorcycle audio world. I'm seeing it on social. I'm seeing it from K-Fest. Different specialists in the field, like, Carlos and all that, talking you guys up. I figured this is the right time to come in and let's just put it on the line, explain it to the dealers, what's going on with the product, break it down for them so they have one show they could focus in on and understand what you guys are doing with motorcycle audio. What do you think about that?
And that's awesome that you invited us to do this. We got to quit meeting like this. The only time you want to talk to me is when I got something new.
It's kind of my jam, man. I'm into the new stuff. That's what I do.
I figure we could at least go to a hockey game or something, right?
We will. There's no doubt about it. The opportunities are definitely coming in the new year. There's no question about it. Let me ask you a couple important questions. The last time you were on, we learned about how the company has literally evolved into this monster, really, within the motorcycle audio category. It's a full line, right? We're talking amplifiers, we're talking speakers, lids, adapters, all that type of stuff. But I would be remiss to not mention the fact that in the specific source unit category of this category, dude, you guys are knocking out of the park. Like, I mean, there's nobody. Like, I don't want to say that just to say that. We're going to back it up. Trust me, I wouldn't make a claim like that if I couldn't back it up, and you'll see what I mean by that. And I'm only speaking based on facts, which are features, and the feature set that these radios represent from a value perspective to the consumer, the end user. If you can't sell this, I don't know, you shouldn't be selling audio.
Something's wrong.
That's
absolutely something's wrong.
Okay, so give us a little take. Like, how has the last 12 months been in the world of Epsilon and Precision Power and motorcycle audio?
Well, you can see the gray hairs coming in, and we have been hard at work to get the other 3 head units released for all the riders that are out there needing these head units. And, our HU 14 Plus has been in the market for almost a year. And so we have tons of experience with that head unit. things that were good, things that were bad. It enabled us to go back, and the next 3 head units are just flawless. And so if you could cue the comparison chart there, Ben, we can show the audience what we've got rolling. Look at that. So HDHU14, we've had that in the market for a year. This is popular. This is the go-to. If you've got a 4.3-inch screen or the GT radio on your Harley, this is a direct replacement. You get Android Auto, CarPlay, DSP features, 4 sets of RCAs with sub out. I mean, it was a game changer at that point. The next one that we'd like to talk about is the SI. This is the one everybody's been waiting on.
Let's keep that graph up. We're going to go through that whole thing there. Yeah. So
the SI replaces the GTS head unit, which is the Harley Davidson high-end head unit within their lineup. And we just wanted to give that end user a little bit more. And we were lucky, privileged enough to partner with Maestro, maybe a Canadian company that you know.
Yeah, we know a thing or two about.
Absolutely. And our new radio will interface with the RR or the RR2. And through Maestro technology, it enables our head unit to do everything that the Harley radio does, plus more. Through the RR2, we stopped counting at 50, 55 gauges.
Yeah, 50 something. Yeah.
It's more than 55 gauges that the end user can choose from. Everything from TAC, there is a 1/4 mile gauge, there's a 0 to 60 gauge. It is absolutely amazing what this radio will do. And for those guys out there that have the GTS radio and they're looking for just a little bit more, that's what this new head unit will offer them. That little bit more. There's been questions about, the GTS gives a pop-up when you're ready to run out of gas, this and that. And yes, we are going to be able to duplicate those features that are important to a lot of riders out there. So that's our arsenal for the 14 and up, those 2 radios. But as you mentioned in your opening, a game changer. And so the game changer are the next 2 radios. So Ben, let's start with that 98 to 13 RG. If you want to drop this and we'll go live. I've got a fairing here.
Yeah. I got to say, before we even go too far, I have to mention something here. Like those first 2 radios are so classy. The form factor is a direct replacement. It forms the shape as the original radio does. It doesn't require any modification. And if I'm not mistaken, remind me if I'm wrong, Ronnie, even the wiring is factory plug and play.
Plug and play. Ben, we used the Harley 48-pin lock-in connector for those 14 and up. We then, on the 98 to 13 radios, we duplicated that lock-in harness, except on a smaller scale. And so once you plug this in, you lock it down, it's not going anywhere. We made these installs as easy as possible. No reason to cut harnesses, nothing. Your biggest task if you install our amp is going to be run power and ground to the battery. That's it. So, everybody from the custom shop to the end user should have no issue whatsoever putting our radios in.
All right.
Then another thing that we added on the back end is that as we get into this, we listen to our customer base. There's always stuff that people want, need, and we listen to that, and these radios are updatable through the USB port. So we put that up. They can go back to the shop that they bought it from. which from a dealer's point of view, that's a reason to get that customer back in the store and sell something else. But it is all updatable through USB for any new features. The 3 new radios that are coming out, the SI, the Street Glide, and Road Glide radio, we've added rear camera input. And the reason we did that, we surveyed a lot of custom motorcycle guys. And this feature is really for a novice rider. They worry about a beginner riding, looking over the shoulder and pulling the bike one way or the other. With our head unit, you just hit the camera button and you can see directly behind you. You never have to look over your shoulder. You're always facing forward and it's right there on your screen. After talking to many of these guys, I found that to be a feature that's probably really needed out there, especially for a novice.
Yeah, let's be honest. These aren't the small bikes that we're talking about, right? These
Not
are
at all. These are
pretty
big
heavy vehicles. You know what I mean?
Big heavy.
I've had the opportunity to ride some Harleys, but I've never driven one of these guys yet. It's a little intimidating for me yet, but I can understand what you're talking about, the lean over, looking back. Definitely a nice feature to have, that rear camera for sure.
Absolutely. And again, that came from our dealer-based input. We listen to these guys because they know what they need. They know what the customer's asking for. So we don't make some preconceived, well, this is what you need. We're listening to them on a daily basis and adjusting to those needs as they are out in the field.
Well, I believe that's proof in the pudding based on the feature list of these radios. So I'm excited to learn about these new ones. Go ahead and continue with your presentation here.
All right, so this one here will be out end of the month. This is the 98 to 13 RG. So this fits the Road Glide. In the fitment chart, we show those riders were limited to a single DIN head unit. There's many manufacturers out there that are making a motorcycle radio to fit that fairing, but basically what you're paying for is album art and Bluetooth. We decided, look, there's got to be a better way. And, to offer CarPlay, Android Auto, you have to have a certain size screen. So I challenged this gentleman sitting next to me. I go, look, I know it sounds crazy, but you got to find me a 7-inch screen. And every time I ask for something, when he quits laughing, he sees that I'm serious and then off to the races.
I'm serious 10% of the time, to be honest with you. So I'm happy that you can get that much out of him.
So we figured out a way. So this is an actual Street Glide fairing, a Road Glide fairing, and you can see the rounded part here. We got the measuring, and we saw that, okay, we can squeak out a 7-inch screen thanks to that. Then we developed this tight seal gasket along with an accordion gasket. So the reason you need the accordion gasket is to seal up the DIN hole to keep water from getting through. And then the gasket around the face of the radio seals the radio actually to the fairing. Can you give me a close-up on this so that the audience can see?
Yeah, see, this is the crazy thing about this whole thing is that these are not car radios made to fit into a Harley.
Absolutely not. And you can see the angle of the face bin? That is to fit the fairing the way that it works. Also, the angle has really helped with any glare that could get onto the.
Is that mimicking the factory angle of the factory radio?
That is. And so it is simple. Slide into the fairing, and then it is a seal fit. If you were in here, you could hear the air push out when I push that into the fairing, and there's your fit and finish. And that is before the mounting screws to mount up the radio. It's not going anywhere. And now these guys have a screen for Android Auto and CarPlay. It's absolutely, this is a game changer.
Look
Nobody
how
is even
slick
close.
and modern you just made that 2014 and older, 13 and older fairing.
That's it. Kind of gives it that Tesla look, right? That full screen. So I tell you what, we recorded a video for you. If you want to roll that video on this particular radio, Ben,
let's go.
Showing you the newest head unit to the Soundstream Reserve Arsenal for Harley Davidson motorcycles. This is the HDHU 9813RG. This is a custom built head unit specifically for 1998 to 2013 Road Glide motorcycles. Let it fire up here for a second. All the handlebar controls are all built in, so you won't have to put any kind of modules or anything like that. But you saw CarPlay showed up there right away. Some other features that it has, of course, AM, FM, Android Auto as well. Sirius XM, if you purchase the Sirius XM tuner, you can connect that Sirius XM tuner there and get satellite radio wherever you are in the country. USB, of course, is used right now for CarPlay, but USB input, you can play back music from your MP3 player, or from your flash drive rather, and then Bluetooth for doing any kind of streaming you want to from auxiliary devices. Some of the other cool features that it has here is a full suite of audio processing options. We have a full 13-band digital EQ. You can program yourself to however you like, or there are custom setting or presets in here you can choose from should you like those as well. There's also high-pass crossover for front and rear output. You got multiple frequencies to choose from, as well as crossover slope. You can choose from 12 or 24 dB. On the subwoofer output side, you've got a subwoofer level control. You can increase or decrease. You can increase or decrease that subwoofer level independently. This works with any amplifier you may have hooked up to the RCAs or to the Precision Power subwoofers. Crossovers, your options for a subsonic. You got variable frequencies you can choose from there. On the low pass side, you've got variable frequencies to choose from, as well as crossover slope. So you got a lot of good tuning options with this 9813 RG head unit. Some of the display functions that are available here, I'll show you real quick. You've got a daytime and nighttime brightness setting, so you can automatically dim or bright the LCD depending on how bright it is outside. The touch key color, you can program it to whatever color you want to keep it on. You can change those colors, or you can let it rotate automatically should you want to. You can upload backgrounds to it. We have a couple that are reloaded here for you, but if you plug in your USB with some JPEGs on it, you can push that plus button and it'll search your USB for any kind of JPEGs to take to the head unit. If Alfredo comes to the back side here, we can show you kind of what's going on. Bit of a spaghetti mess back here, but it is all plug and play. You're not required to use any kind of adapters or any kind of installation kits or things like that for this head unit. It does bolt up to the OEM brackets. You don't have to use any kind of extra brackets and such. All the RCA outputs are here for the amplifier, front, rear, and sub. Input for the Sirius XM tuner you saw there. We do have a camera input on it, so if you have backup camera or front rear camera you want to be able to view while you're riding, you can certainly do that. There's even a trigger here to power up that camera. Microphone input, so if you do want to use Siri or Google Assistant, you can plug in the microphone that we include and you can do that as well. There is a USB cable we're giving you. Since the old bikes don't have USB cables, there's a USB cable that can go to either pocket if you want. It kind of goes on here on the side if Alfredo can get it. There it is up there in the corner. So you got an option to put it on either pocket if you want to. This is all plug and play also with all the Precision Power audio equipment, the amplifiers, the 6x9s, the subwoofers, the fairing kits, lid kits, the whole nine. Everything is definitely plug and play. Check out motorcycleaudio.com for more details.
So can I be honest with you guys for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Kind of my job to come up with critique and point out things that, hey, it'd be cool if, man, you guys thought of everything on this radio. Like, even I didn't even think about the backup camera. You already thought, the changing the color, the uploading the background. Like, you thought of everything. There's even DSP features built in. Like, I don't expect that from from this type of radio, but it's in there.
And Ben, look, I would love for me and Brandon to take all the credit, but
some of these features is thanks to our customer base. Guys really getting behind the line, and
but
you know what?
Made it happen though. That's the thing.
Better.
You guys made it happen. That's the crazy part. Like, I need to ask the question. Like, I don't have any experience developing a source unit. Like, what timeline? What are we talking about here? Like, you guys, this is like a crazy project.
So the first radio literally took 2 years. Okay, honestly, and he and I working day in and day out to get it right. Waterproofing, very important in this situation. You just never know. You're going to get caught in a rainstorm, whatever that is. Then working from the go, we had 5-6 dealers that we worked closely with. You know, what features against what in the market, what do you need? And then the last thing, they were like, look, we're tired of putting a plastic kit in. Why can't we just have something that bolts in, plugs in, and then we move on? And so it took literally 2 years of development to get the HD AQ14 Plus off the ground. Now that we've got that off the ground, while we run into some obstacles, I'm not going to say it's old hat, but we know what we're doing now. And so we know what has to be where and all of this kind of good stuff. And, you know, it got requested. I'm going to throw one out to your sponsor. They should be happy. The 3 new radios, all Sirius XM compatible.
I have nothing to add. I would have mentioned it, but guess what? You already said it in the video. Yes, amazing. That's especially for motorcycle riders. Huge part of Sirius XM customer base.
Well, if you think the feature set that we give them, they can literally step out of their car or truck, get on their bike, and have all the same features that they're used to having within their vehicle.
Yeah. And I think the Maestro integration just takes that to the next level. Now, is there Maestro integration for these units? No, right? Only for the previous model that you discussed.
Only for the SI.
Okay, only for the SI.
Because on the new units, there was no such thing. It was all analog back then. So both the RG radio and the SG thumb controls are built into the module.
Understood. Okay, so the unit itself. Can we bring back that flow chart real quick? I just wanted to ask a question here. Let's go ahead and bring back that flow chart. So you just showed in that video the top right one, correct?
That is correct.
We haven't discussed the bottom right one. Are we getting into that?
We have not. And those poor guys, you know, here we built the first one for the Road Glide, and all the Batwing or the Street Glide guys are goes, well, where's ours?
Right.
So if you'll flip back to that one more time, this is what you'll notice. It's a DIN radio. They're very limited on what they can do. And then notice at the top of the DIN radio, you've got 4 indicator lights. And so Brandon and I were looking at it and we're like, my God, how are we going to squeak something out of this without blocking those indicator lights? Well, there was no way to do it and pull off a 7-inch screen. So Ben, I'm going to change fairings.
Wow, you guys have all the fairings right there. That's awesome.
And so now we have the Street Glide fairing. And we knew the big screen was going to block the indicator.
Can we get closer on this, Ronnie?
Absolutely.
Do we have the ability to bring that camera closer? I really want to see this.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, just unplugged. Video just unplugged.
Yeah, just unplug this.
Let's bring that back in.
Yeah.
I knew it was a risky move, but it's worth it. I want to see the detail on this install.
Yeah. We can.
All right, there it is. Now let's bring it in. There we go.
All right.
All right, here we go.
All right, Ben. So you can see we had that little bitty DIN opening that we had to work with, correct? So we need at least 7-inch screen for CarPlay. So Brandon,
is that the prerequisite, by the way?
Yeah, 7-inch.
7-inch, got it.
And so me personally, I don't like changing the lines on the bike. And I don't think many riders like you to change the lines on their bike. And what I mean by lines is how the bike looks from the factory. And while those are just 4 small indicator lights. I just felt like it was going to be important. So what we did on the Street Glide, we built that indicator light bar into the radio. So they are literally going to unplug the ribbon cable from their indicator lights and plug into the back of the radio.
No adapter.
And correct, without an adapter. And the indicator lights are a separate circuit. So God forbid a radio goes down, the indicator lights will still work.
For safety reasons, right.
100%, because they have to have access to that.
Gotcha. All right.
Did you lose us again?
Yeah, we'll get you plugged in again.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to bring up that flow chart one more time because it's important for this chart for people to understand. So what we have here, guys, take a screenshot of this if you will. I'm sure if you email the guys at Epsilon, they're going to give you this. This is what you have to have printed out. So your techs understand, so that everybody in the store understands how this works. When you have a customer that comes in, it's going to be one of these 4 scenarios. Now, we're going to meet a retailer a little bit later on the show that's really going to give some testimony to the effectiveness of this system, the game-changingness of these parts and these products. But, I mean, there's no other solution out there quite like this that I've seen so far, right? So you have 14 over, 13 under, everything is there, plug and play, loaded with all the features. Of course, the newer models, you can take advantage of the ADS Maestro technology. And the older models, well, you're getting a crazy upgrade in technology and thought that these guys put in with the indicator lights being a separate circuit. I mean, yeah, that's what that is right there. Beautiful.
Leaving no stone unturned.
Leaving no stone unturned. All right. Are you guys back online yet?
All right.
All right.
We are gold. We are gold. So again, all the feature set that we gave the Road Glide, Street Glide users will get that absolute same experience that that the Road Glide guys get.
Beautiful.
And it's all about that. It's all about that customer experience. Again, you've got a layered rubber gasket on the back of this, so it seals up to the fairing. No water getting into the fairing. The face is fully IPX6 rated. The RG, it looks like they actually sprayed it with a fire hose. That's how hard the water was hitting the face of that. So we wanted to make sure that customer experience was everything that they needed to be in any weather condition that they could possibly run into.
Amazing.
So these 2 radios are game-changing, not just for the rider, but for the industry. Absolutely game-changing.
And now I'm going to ask the question.
Yep.
When are all 4 of these radios available to dealers?
The SI and the RG will be available at the end of this month.
Oh.
The Street Glide will be available February of 2023.
So taking pre-orders right now, I imagine.
Absolutely, 100%.
100%, of course. I love to spend all day on just head units, which we can, but I think there's a couple other products that deserve a little screen time. What do you say?
100%. So let's just move into our amplifier. And this is a Korean-made amplifier. We put it on the dyno when it was 150 watts a channel on the dyno.
Yeah, 160 something. Yeah.
Which is way above the rating that we put on the box. And the dealers that use this amplifier, all of them, say musically, sonically, this is one of the better sounding amps that are in the market. I have to agree with them. Again, we had 2 years in the head unit, and this was running right alongside those head units. And we made sure that it's right because, Ben, with anything, especially within the motorcycle lifestyle, you only get one chance to impress a rider. They're not going to keep giving you a chance again and again and again. You got one chance. And we knew that going in, and that's why this whole line was thought out. It wasn't rushed. And it's just really turning into a beautiful thing. So for the dealers out there, want to try this amplifier, this is the MMA 400. 2-ohm stable, will run a full system of fairing, lowers, bag lid, and tour pack all at the same time.
And that's a 4-channel?
Pretty amazing piece.
Yes, it is.
And does it come with any installation hardware, bracketry, or anything of that nature?
That's a separate order.
Okay.
Only because to put this on a 98 to 13, that would be a different bracket and different wiring versus a 14 and up.
But you have those options.
We do. We provide both of those kits. When they order the amp, they just have to order the specific wiring and mounting kit, and that way they'll have no issues whatsoever.
Really? Okay.
So, also new, we've been working on this for a while. So, believe it or not, in the competitive scene, guys are removing their gauges and putting.
I've seen that. I have totally seen that recently. I thought it was seeing things.
Absolutely not. They who needs to know that they're out of gas? Nobody.
It depends, because if I had a reserve unit in my 14 and up, I don't need those manual gauges, do I?
You know what? Great point. You do not need that. That's right. You're a great point. But we have made this actually bolt up to the factory gauge holes. When you take the gauge out, this pops right back in. It mounts to the gauge, factory gauge mounting mount, and then the chrome ring that was over the gauge will snap right back into the tweeter.
So I got some questions here. So does that mean now that if I'm building a system with tweeters replacing gauges, do I still need a 2-way in my fairing?
Of course, because this is just tweeter. You got to have some mid bass somewhere.
No, but what I mean is, instead of having a mid bass coaxial, for example, that has a tweeter built into it.
Right, you could use just a Pro Audio 6.5.
I could just use like a mid bass or mid driver there, and
100%.
That's right.
These tweeters are so loud. This is the way I put it. It will melt your face.
Well, with the helmet on.
With the helmet on, yeah, melt your face. Absolutely. We also provide you with the factory Harley plugs. You plug right into their speaker harness, and you're good to go. So this will plug into the harness. And then your 6.5, it's all cohesive.
Oh, gotcha.
No cutting of wires. We want to make this as easy as possible.
What about the crossover? What about the crossover?
It's built into it.
It's built into the tweeter.
Oh, so that's a pass-through wire you're talking about there.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Okay, now I understand. Right. So that one single speaker wire goes through tweeter then to the woofer. It's already crossed over.
That's right.
The tweeter's protected. Everything's powered.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. All right.
And so, again, customer requests. We built, as we talked last time, the last time we went through this, we built an amazing speaker line, full range, musically sounds absolutely fantastic, 2 ways. We've got patents on the way that heat is drawn out of the bag up the tweeter pole. You're riding, no heat in the bag, and the wind just carries that off. But we started getting more and more requests for, well, we need a set of Pro Series speakers. So again, I go to Brandon's office. I'm like, dude, I know you're going to kill me, but here's what I got to have. So we're creating a 6.5, a 6x9, and an 8-inch 2-way compression driver.
Ah, yes.
And these are the 6x9 and 6.5.
Oh, very interesting. So they don't protrude. The compression driver is flush to the top.
Absolutely, and we still maintained their waterproof.
How?
So even if this fills up, it's not going to run down the pole and into the bag. We waterproofed all this.
Is there a membrane in the middle for the compression?
There is. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and we put our MA 400 on the 6x9s in the lab. He had it cranked all the way up, and it wanted more. It was, you could tell, just give me more. So these are going to be absolutely fabulous.
I'm going to assume ultra efficient.
Super efficient. This is funny. We got the lab test from the factory, and I called BS. I'm like, no, this can't be right. I need the Clipple test. So we are waiting for the Clipple test to come back to prove to me that the efficiency on these is exactly what they said it was, because their lab, its efficiency I haven't seen in a very long time.
I'm going to say this is a Brandon question. 2 questions, Brandon. Cone material, magnet type.
Magnet type is all neodymium. Has to be in order for us to get the efficiency and be able to pack all that into a size that can fit into the fairing enclosure. The cones are a paper material, but they are coated in a waterproof UV based material. That way, there will not be any kind of water that gets absorbed into the cone and cause damage, anything like that. There's the similar waterproof membrane down in the horn that we use on our subwoofer product, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, that protects any water from getting down into the diaphragm or into the motor structure of the speaker. We really thought about everything we could here to make this work. One other point I'll bring up here is too, we leave terminals here for not only the woofer but also for the tweeter. So if there is some custom install guys that want to biamp these speakers and run the tweeter separately, they absolutely have that
biampable right there off the basket.
It is biampable. Okay. Yeah.
What is the basket, by the way?
Say again?
Is that a stamp cast? What is that? It's hard to.
No, this is a PA66 material, so it's a nylon that's been infused with fiberglass material. So we get the rigidity and the strength of a steel or an aluminum, but we don't risk the rusting or any of that kind of things happening to that material.
Right. Okay. Very nice. Very sexy. Sexy. That's what I
said. Again, well thought out. You have no idea how many meetings on each product we've had over and over and over again. And then even when we think we have it done, we still ask the question, have we done enough?
What else is there?
What else is there? Have we done enough? And then we go back to the drawing board. So this line here will be out roughly February, first quarter. 6.5, 6 by 9.
This will be your highest level. This will be your premium line of drawing.
100%. 100%. Absolutely. So that is all new. And then the sub enclosures.
We did touch on those last time, but I'd like to get a refresher.
We did, and they weren't really reality yet. They are now reality. So this is a pre-molded, amplified subwoofer. So there's no reason to try to find a place to have hide an extra amplifier or anything of a sort. With this, there is no reason to cut the side of the bag out. I understand why some of the companies are doing that. You got to get the sound out somehow. So what we did, we self-powered the box, and then we went with a dual woofer system. And instead of cutting the side of the box out, you put 9 of these discs.
You're talking about venting, right, Ronnie?
Venting, yeah. We vent the bottom of the bag, and you get 9 of these. We do include the hole bore so that you can drill these out, and then these fit in from the bottom, screw in, and then the membrane that we're using, the same that we're using in the Pro speakers, it allows sound out, but it doesn't allow the elements to come back in. And so you can actually take the subwoofer box out, pack it with your jacket if you're going on a long trip, whatever that looks like, and still know that your bag is waterproof. Water is not going to leak into
Just so I get a full visual on this, that piece that you have on your table fits into the bag, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And you're talking about drilling holes off the original bag.
That is correct. Through the bottom of the bag.
Right. So that the air emanating from those speakers pointing down escapes through, and therefore you have sound. Got it. Okay.
That is correct.
So that's just drop in. There's no mods other than the holes.
That's correct.
And
that's
they're on the bottom.
And I mean, you have to drill holes for the power connection and the speaker connection. And again, if you'll look at this, we use what is a underwater pool lighting harness. So it is fully waterproof. Once you screw it together, all the different connections are right here in the run. So it's a one run and you're done kind of thing, and it's waterproof.
Beauty. All right. Well, guys, I think we've pretty much covered everything we wanted to cover in this session. That was a lot of information, but I'm really excited about our next portion of our show because I've got a dealer. Yes, one of your dealers in the back here, anxiously waiting, that I want to pick his brain on to see how he feels about all these great products that we presented today. So, without further ado, he is the owner of a shop known as Volunteer Audio, and his name is Jay Bradshaw. What's going on, Jay?
Well, Ben, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. We're going to put the boys from Epsilon in the back studio so you and I can have a private conversation without them making funny faces at you the whole time, because I know they will. Jay, listen, first of all, thank you for taking time. I see you're already in the back of your shop and what seems to be a motorcycle. How fitting. Tell us a little bit about your business. Where are you located? What do you guys specialize in? And how long you been around?
Yeah, so I own Volunteer Audio. We're in East Tennessee. We're just about an hour from the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Great area for people to come in and ride their motorcycles. So it was fitting that we would get into the motorcycle and power sports business. This is our 24th year in business. So we've been in the audio game for a long time. And I think, as you know, a lot of times the new cars now are coming with far more features than they used to. And we wanted to branch out into something that was a little bit more exciting. These motorcycles are definitely something that everybody that buys one wants or needs to upgrade their audio.
I mean, there must have been a changing point, a shift of momentum that you could probably pinpoint to a single customer that came in with a request to do something to their motorcycle where you're like, wait a minute, there's something to be done here.
Yeah, I would say probably the beginning was some of the first customers that came in requesting some of the loudspeaker style speakers installed in the 98 to 13 motorcycles. But it really didn't get really big till the 14 and newer bikes came out, and people were requesting things like Apple CarPlay or Android Auto from some of the newer double-din radios. But the big problem was there was nothing on the market that was IPX rated. So you install the radio, it would get wet from washing or raining, and there you are warranting out the radio.
Yeah, which sucks. Really does suck. And you as a retailer, literally has to tell the customer, I can install this for you, but I can't do anything about it if it gets wet. And they take the risk. Yeah, but that's not what we want. We want to be able to provide customers with, the products that they need with the features that they need. So how did Precision Power come into play? You're a retailer. You got a choice of a lot of different products. How did Precision Power come into play?
When we heard that there may be an IPX radio coming out 2 years ago, Ronnie said it took him 2 years. It did, because we anxiously awaited the arrival of these radios. We received some of the very first ones a full year ago. And it really helped because, in the time of COVID and the Bluetooth shortages, the chip shortages, there weren't a lot of radios available. And we spent all last year flashing stock radios so that we could add amplifiers and speakers, because we really didn't have radios available at all to go with any of these bikes. So as this new radio came out and they had inventory, it was just a godsend, man. What a blessing to have radios that we could install. And a lot of these customers waited last year on these new features. It was a perfect storm. The Harley radios from the dealer had been on back order, so a lot of people wanted that new GTS radio, but they couldn't get it. And here at the perfect time, an IPX rated radio, something with a great display. They didn't really touch on the optically bonded display, so you can see it really well in the sun. But every customer that's seen it, that comes in that has one of those older radios, definitely wants to do this upgrade. And I know a lot of the guys watching, your dealers, for other brands maybe, or you've got your own shop, and a lot of you guys may not do motorcycles currently. And there's some things that you're up against on these newer bikes, the radio, or you have to add a DSP to turn on rear speakers, to correct bad factory EQs. So there's a lot of other tools that you may not have that, as simple as selling the customer a radio they already want, is going to take that out of the equation and allow you not only to be more profitable, but to build a much better sounding system.
And I'm going to venture that you probably didn't have to discount any of those radios, did you?
Not a single one. But keep in mind, this is the only company, Precision Power and the SoundStream Reserve, it's the only option in this realm. I mean, there's nobody else. So if you're looking for something that is water resistant, IPX6 rated, as Ronnie said earlier, and you're wanting something that's direct bolt-in, plug and play, and it looks so clean. I mean, it looks like the radio in the 19 or newer Harleys, which made all these older Harleys look new again. So the customers were on board. They wanted Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So even though the new GTS radio from Harley does those features, there were limitations. You had to have a WIM flashed on, and you had to be wearing a headset. And there were all these things that this easily added what they wanted from their car.
I want to take the opportunity. You mentioned this is the only option. And I want to be clear on something. There are times where there's only one option. But I want to be clear. Not only is it the only option, it's a great option because they've covered off all the features that you can possibly think of. I mean, I'm stumped. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I think they did such a great job that everybody else just stopped. They were probably trying to play catch up, but when they realized there wasn't something they could top, you haven't seen another manufacturer come out with a radio to try to compete with it.
Is it possible that other manufacturers just haven't honed in on the potential of the business, the actual business size of this?
We see almost every brand has got into the speaker and the amp game with Harleys. I mean, they see the massive opportunity, but I mean, you're just so much cost in a radio that only fits certain models. Most of the big manufacturers are going to want something that can be sold worldwide. Harley is definitely more prominent here in the U.S. I know
it's a North American thing, period. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but you're not going to sell this in every country in the world. So
no.
Very excited that they took the time and they put their money in it and they believed in the product to give us such a great year.
Awesome. All right. So you mentioned it, amplifiers, speakers. Just talk about a little bit. Do you also offer your customers the other products such as the speakers and the amps? You still with me, Jay?
Yeah. I'm sorry. You cut out there for a minute. But
no worries. I'll repeat the question. I was just wondering, you had mentioned the amplifiers and the speakers. Do you also offer to your customers the Precision Power speaker range as well as the amplifier range?
Yeah, actually, we carry the entire line. And Ronnie, Brandon, we probably need to pre-order the speakers you just showed because it's going to be awesome. Those Pro Audio speakers looked like exactly what some of our upper-end clients are looking for. But you're a rider, and that's the bulk of your business. 90+% of your guys are just riders. They want something they can hear clearly, and they want it to be loud enough that you can hear it over the wind and over the engine at whatever speed. And Precision Power has done a great job of that while also making it very easy to install, completely plug and play. And I think they really honed in on their clientele. We see here, I'm in East Tennessee, the southeast part of the U.S., and we ask every one of these customers when they come into our shop, what genre of music do you listen to? And when we get past that first, I listen to everything. And we get down to what they actually listen to. It's classic rock, Southern rock, 80s hair bands, metal. I mean, a lot of modern country music. But a lot of these recordings, they don't have a lot of bass and they have a lot of treble. And they did a great to where they have a lot of mid bass and the highs are not too much. So they're not going to melt your face and they're much more enjoyable to listen to. And they sound great with those classic and older rock recordings.
Very good. And I think there's something to be said with, single brand systems, right? You build the loyalty of the brand, starting with that source unit, and it's easy to flow through to the rest of the system as well. Yeah. My final question to you, Jay, before we bring the boys back in, talk to us about how important the MAP program is that Precision Power offers dealers.
Yeah, like I said to begin with, this is 24 years in the business. And we all know when the internet came about, that a lot of products lost a lot of profitability. And MAP, as almost every brand is going to give you a MAP policy, but how do they enforce it? So as being a retailer, we see a lot of brands end up online and you can report it. And a lot of them will go and make those companies change the pricing or fix it. With Precision Power and SoundStream, it's been completely like nothing I've seen before. They're literally cutting off dealers. At one point in time, Ronnie said they'd cut off more dealers than they were signing up. But there's huge profitability in the line, and the MAP protection has been amazing. And another thing to point out is most companies are going to give you a retail price, and they're going to your margins are based off retail, but then MAP's another 10, 20% less. You have the percentages that you need at MAP price, not at retail price. So everywhere you look, the price is protected. That's allowing us to do a better job as dealers. I mean, there's money there to take care of the customer. So, yeah, absolutely. One of the most profitable lines we carry. Customers are happy, and the quality has been phenomenal. Our defective rate has been none. I mean, so we're not spending time redoing jobs due to poor quality products.
I was going to ask you about that, and I have a feeling you've. All right, let's go ahead and bring back Ronnie and Brandon. Let's out the show with a quick little discussion and kind of culminate everything we've learned today.
Hey, Ben, I've been holding an ace in my back pocket, and we wanted to wait for you to come back.
All right, let me hear it.
Before we showed it. And again, we've been at this for a little over 2 years, and this is outside the electronic world. And so Harley Davidson bikes have an analog speedometer, and we started putting our heads together, and we were like, how in the world can we give these guys the customer experience of having a digital speedometer, but also being able to pull data from the bus and put it on this particular speedometer and remove the old analog, make it plug and play. Again, when he stops laughing at me and he sees I'm dead serious, he goes to work. So, seen on your show for the first time.
Okay, so just so you know, Jay, we never discussed this. I have no idea what they're about to show here.
This is a digital plug and play speedometer for Harley Davidsons with the analog speedometer, mounts, waterproof, and all the full digital readout of everything that will be on that data bus right there for them to upgrade their bike. Bring it into the new century. And so
what is the application? Hold on. What is the application of that gauge? Where does that fit?
It's varied. 98 to 13 road glide, 98 to 13 street glide. There is a long number of bikes. So there will be different speedometers for the different bikes. But this will be something that Jay, our other dealers, will be able to have access to, and it not just be car audio or motorcycle audio.
To clarify, this is the standard 4-inch diameter gauge. So any of the motorcycles going back to, I think, 2011 or so, I think, that have CAN bus can use this digital gauge. That includes Dynas and Softails, and there's a slew of bikes that do not have a fairing but have this gauge, whether it's in the tank or whether it's mounted on the handlebar. They can replace it and add this and get all the cool, fun stuff that they're missing.
Jay, I'm going to lean on you, brother, because you know this more than I do. It's a cool gauge, but what does this mean?
I mean, you've got a lot of guys that have an older bike and they're thinking about maybe buying a new one. And instead of buying that new bike, they can bring it into the future by simply replacing a gauge and having a lot of information they didn't have before. So I think, like Brandon said, a lot of 2011 and newer Road Kings that don't have a fairing, or your Dynas or your Softails, your Fat Boys, a lot of these are going to be able to be replaced. And it just gives us another way to bring in a customer into our shop.
Amazing. Ronnie, I want to give you an opportunity to provide some feedback on the conversation that Jay and I had.
Look, Jay, I don't even consider Jay a dealer. Jay is a partner. He's a partner to us, and the give and take that is there. And again, we have several other dealers throughout the United States. They're partners to us. They want to see us succeed.
They're family.
They're family. And you know what? When I've got a new product, Jay, Carlos Ramirez, there's a ton of guys that I make the phone call and start the survey. Hey, here's what we're going to do. What do you think? And they all shoot straight with us. And that's all I ever ask. So everything Jay said, spot on. But he's not our dealer. He's our partner. And that's a good way to put it.
Jay, I want to give you an opportunity to comment on anything that these guys presented today.
Well, absolutely. From the beginning of our business with Epsilon and Motorcycle Audio, it really has felt like a partnership because they've protected our company, allowing us to have profit margins, but also made sure that we could take care of all of our customers so that we continue for years and years down the road with plenty of business. Because, we've got to take care of the customer first and foremost. We have to have the product they want. You've given us that, Ronnie. It's been great being a partner with you.
I'm going to ask Jay one more thing before I let him go. Final message that you have for other dealers, whether they're already doing motorcycle audio or thinking about it.
All right, so we got into motorcycle audio pretty big, probably 5 to 6 years ago. At this point, it's probably close to 70% of our business. I mean, it is huge how much we're doing in the motorcycle audio business. Also, some of the side-by-sides, but we can use the same equipment in it. I mean, we're putting motorcycle speakers in the side-by-sides also. But the profitability, the customer that has a motorcycle, they have the ability to upgrade the audio. You already have a customer that's already made it in life. They're probably they've got a good career already. They're older and they know what they want and they have the money to spend it. And if you're missing out on the motorcycle audio, you need to look at Precision Power. You need to look at SoundStream Reserve. And you need to look at it really hard because it's going to very much so benefit your business.
Amazing. On that note, Jay, I want to thank you for making the time. I know you got a busy shop to run, so thank you for coming in and sharing with us your wisdom.
Yeah,
let's bring back the boys at Epsilon one last time. So, guys, we went through brand new product. We demonstrated the game changer effect of those brand new source units. We went through the new Pro speakers. Those look absolutely awesome. I think those are overdue. You probably wish they were out a little bit earlier, but they're finally coming out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then you sneaky guys pull out this gauge out of nowhere, which I appreciate. I love it when you do that. Final message that you have for dealers tuning in who haven't been the bug, who haven't dealt with you guys, who haven't picked up the phone. What message do you have for them?
The message is all of this product is hand built from the ground up. We're not buying anything off the shelf. There's a lot of research that went into this, years of research, not months, not days, years. We have proven our MAP program, and I am very, very strict on the MAP program and protecting my dealers. And you break the rule, I'll walk away because I've got all these other guys that I need to protect. And if you guys want to make some money, if you want to be on the cutting edge, if you want to give these customers the same experience that they're having in their cars when they get on their bike, then SoundStream and Precision Power is a no-brainer for your shop.
Amazing. I'm going to throw up some information, viewers. If you're interested in finding more about Precision Power motorcycle audio, well, it can't get easier than this. motorcycleaudio.com. That will lead you to a contact us, which will get you to the team at Epsilon. If you happen to be a Canadian dealer and you're interested in some of the source units, you can go ahead and contact the Canadian distributor for source units. It's automob.ca. If you're interested in more, such as the speakers that you've seen today or any other of the accessories, go ahead and follow the motorcycleaudio.com link. Gentlemen, thank you so much for bringing everything you brought to the table today. Congratulations on the new products. And I really look forward to what else is going on in the mad scientist's lab back there, which I'm sure there's some secrets you still haven't told us yet. But we'll be here.
And there is.
All right.
We will see you again. Ben Wu, thank you,
Ronnie,
brother. Appreciate you.
Take care, guys. All right. Awesome presentation from the boys at Precision Power Motorcycle Audio. Want to remind you, only 2 days left. So get off your chair. Get over to cmanetworks.com/giveaway. We will be drawing 2 lucky winners to get to MasterTech Expo in March of next year. 1 winner from Canada, 1 winner from the US. And while you're on the website, go ahead and check out the other Precision Power videos that we've done so far. Learn all about the brand and other brands within the category. CMAnetworks.com. It's where the 12-volt industry connects. That's it for this CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
I mean, yeah, this time around.
Stop
so you know
it.
Today we're gonna go
Yo.
topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?